What's up squad, my name is ESO and welcome back to the channel. The best place to find the ultimate Skyrim builds, whether you want to be an assassin, an archer, mage or warrior. Today my friends, you are going to be watching the ultimate shout build guide. This build guide allows you to play the game in a way that was never intended. This build is ridiculously overpowered and probably the most hilarious way and funniest way to play the game. So whether you're completely new to Skyrim or if you just want to have some fun, this build is going to be for you. It's undoubtedly one of the funnest builds I've ever created and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. And just so you know, the glitch that you need to do in order to make this build work still works on Skyrim Remastered. And if you haven't already, I highly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and also favourite this video so you can come back whenever you need to refer to it. So as many of you have probably guessed by now, in this guide I'll be showing you how you can reduce the cooldown of your shouts by 100%. So what this means is that you will have no shout cooldowns. You'll be able to use any shout you want repeatedly as often as you like. So what this means is that you can actually now combo or even chain different shouts together and create the most wacky battles you've ever seen in your life. This Skyrim build is stupidly powerful guys, but you'll never get bored of it, it's just so fun. You can literally juggle your enemies in the sky and even play the whole game in slow motion, just because you can. It never takes you more than a minute to walk anywhere because you just use the Whirlwind sprint shout. This is definitely one of my funnest builds yet, and you won't need to start a new game to do this. You can actually do it on one of your old characters, or if you're like me, you can just start a new character just for this build. So the ultimate shout build allows you to play through the entire game by just using shouts. But what a lot of people don't know is that these shouts also work really well if you're playing an assassin, a thief, or an archer, or even a mage or warrior. Hell, even if you're a werewolf or a vampire, these shouts can still work for you. And the reason I'm telling you this is because we're going to be talking about some really cool shout combos later. And the point of this build is that you can either play it solo, so just play the game using shouts, or you can combine it with one of my other builds for maximum carnage. So what I've done is I've left a link to all my other builds in a playlist that you can go and check out. So if you want to combine one of those builds with this build later, you can definitely do that. So now let's talk about the main build. There are actually several ways to get 100% cooldown to your shouts, and I'm going to show you the fastest way. You won't need to train up any of your skills or anything, you can literally do this at level 1. The first thing you must do is find 5 Amulets of Talents. Now the Amulet of Talents gives you a 20% cooldown to your shouts. Now this amulet is pretty damn common in Skyrim. If you've played the game before, you've definitely seen it. And there are a few ways that we can find 5 of them. If you're lazy though, you can just get one amulet and then use the duplication glitch to get all 5. And I'll leave a link in the description below on how you can duplicate items. If you don't want to do that though, you can find them pretty easily in the following locations. Firstly, there are a couple of fixed locations you can get this amulet. You can get one the first time you enter Solitude, which is located just here on the map. So when you first enter this city, you'll see Rogvir getting beheaded. He's just on your right as you enter. And once he's dead, you can loot one from his corpse. But if you missed that the first time you came here, don't worry because you can probably just go back and grab it right now. Secondly, we can actually buy the amulet at the Radiant Raiment, a shop which is right here in Solitude. Just head around through the town here and the shop will be on your right. Now the shop itself won't actually always sell the Amulet of Talents, so I suggest coming back either every few days. Or another option you have is to just save the game in front of the shopkeeper and then kill the shopkeeper and then just reload that save you just made. This will reset the shopkeeper's inventory. So if you do this a few times until it's in stock, you can just buy all the amulets here. You will actually find that quite a few general stores all around Skyrim also sell them, so be sure to check out some other towns too. Thirdly, you will find one in Markarth, which is located just here on the map. Once you arrive in the city, just head over to Ogmund's house. Once here, you will find that he has an amulet locked away in his chest. You can just pick the chest to get the amulet for yourself, but the most common way to get the Amulet of Talos is from the Hold Guards, which exist obviously all over Skyrim. Both the Stormcloaks and the Imperial soldiers will all randomly have an Amulet of Talos on their bodies. You can either just pickpocket them to check if they have one, and then you can save and then pickpocket it off them, or you can just kill them for it. You'll get quite a few during the Civil War questline, when you'll be killing lots of guards without it counting as a crime. So if you're worried about just killing them normally, just do the Civil War questline until you've got enough. And then lastly, you will sometimes find them in containers, and even some Draugr will wear them. You can find lots of Draug in Nordic temples. Just check out the description below for a few locations as to where you can find them. So you should be able to get 5 Amulets of Talos quite quickly. Once you have all 5, we can move on to the next part of the guide. So we must become either a werewolf if you don't have the Dawnguard downloadable content, or if you do, you can also become a vampire lord if you wish. The choice is completely up to you, it doesn't really matter for this build. But if you're not sure on how to do that, just check out the guide in the description on how to become either. Now you should have 5 Amulets of Talos and be either a werewolf or a vampire lord. All you need now is a follower that won't turn hostile when you turn into either a werewolf or a vampire. I'm going to use Fiandrel. There are lots of other followers you can use though. I'll leave a list of them in the description below, as well as where you can get them. Now you've got your follower, I'm going to go through the next stages of getting 100% shout cooldown. This is a permanent buff, so you only need to do this once. But I do suggest that you favourite the video just in case you want to come back and do it again with another character later. So once you've got your follower, just go off into the wilderness into a private location where you can transform without people attacking you. I'm using the easiest follower to get in the game for this example. So I'm just going to get him to follow me across the river here, out of Riverwood and out of sight from anybody else. And now we found a secluded location, we can start the next step. So step 2, save your game because this is probably going to take you a couple of tries. Step 3, so you've got to talk to your follower and also press the button to transform at the exact same time. Literally talk transform.
Let's get going. I've got your back. I'm right behind you.
And if you time this correctly, you will know because the transformation animation will play, but the conversation menu will still be up on the screen at the same time that you're transforming, like you can see now. So just wait until you're completely transformed and don't press any buttons, just leave the chat menu there. So after you're transformed, you should still be in the chat menu. Now select the option to trade with your follower and then it will bring up the menu. So go back to yourself and just give your follower all 5 Amulets of Talos and put them in their inventory. Now go back to your follower's inventory and hover over the Amulet of Talos. As you can see, depending on if you're on console or PC, in the bottom left corner it will have the option to equip the amulet from their inventory. So just do this and you're going to want to equip all 5. Now go back to your own inventory and you should now be wearing all 5 amulets at once. So you can now exit the conversation and return back to human form. And all of these 5 amulets will still be equipped. So each one of these amulets will actually have a 20% reduction to your shout cooldown. And by equipping all 5 of them, you will get a permanent 100% reduction to your shout cooldown. This is obviously a permanent effect, which means you can now spam shouts as much as you want with no cooldown whatsoever. If you ever accidentally unequip one of these Amulets of Talos, you can simply go back and do step 1 to 5 again. So I suggest favoriting this video in case you forget that. And please do remember, that if you turn into a werewolf or a vampire lord, you will unequip all of your items, so you'll have to go back and put the amulets back on again. So now we've got past that, we can get to the fun part of the build, because now you can spam shouts all day and we can actually combo our shouts together to make some crazy effects. The only thing holding you back now is your imagination. First, let's go over the basics though. Our shout abilities all have a power level, and to get the max power of any shout, you must firstly have learnt all 3 words of power for that shout. The words of power can be learnt at a word wall, and all these word walls are scattered around Skyrim. So there'll be 3 word walls for each shout, and you can find the locations of each word wall for each shout down below in the description. Once you've learned all the 3 words for one shout, you'll then be able to use the most powerful version of it. And to do this, just hold down the shout button, and you'll hear the Dragonborn say 3 syllables. And that's the full powered shout. Now let's actually talk about our shouts. You can now easily use the Whirlwind sprint shout to travel large distances really quickly. The only thing really holding you back here is your PC's ability to load the game world that fast. My favourite shout though to use with this build is the slow time shout. This shout basically allows you to permanently slow time, so everything moves in slow motion but you can still move faster. The possibilities are endless with this shout. You can set up these awesome situations where you walk into a room full of enemies and then use the slow time shout before cutting them all down, or backstabbing them, or even just headshotting them all with a bow. It's almost like constantly playing in a movie cinematic. So if you're playing an archer assassin, I highly recommend that you watch my class build guide in the description below, as that explains how to get the most damage for that build, because they complement each other really well. If you do want to play a sneaky build though, you will definitely need to get the illusion perk called Quiet Casting, and that's found here in the illusion skill tree. You can get this at level 50 illusion. It allows you to use your shouts without making any sound, so nobody will hear you and you won't be detected while you're sneaking. And this is really the only perk you need for this build. In terms of health, magicka and stamina, it's completely up to you. I guess health is the only really important thing, so you don't die as easily. Now we're going to be talking about shout combos. And for our first combo, you can try combining the slow time shout with the elemental fury shout for the ultimate two-handed or dual wielding setup. This allows you to run around and butcher everybody in a bloody frenzy. Once again, just check out my two-handed and dual wield build down below in the description to maximize your damage for those 2 classes. Secondly, you can also use the slow time shout with mage spells. Not only will it make the game look like some kind of Star Wars battle scene, but it works especially well with the fire spell, because the damage over time effect will be so much more effective. You can also try using the slow time shout and then using the walls of flame or shock spell for maximum effect. I suggest checking out my pure mage build down in the description if you're interested in a spellcaster playstyle. The third combo pretty much allows you to become a human dragon. Now this combo is for those of you who just want to play a solo shout build. We're going to use a combination of first the frost breath shout and then fire breath, and then we're going to finish off anyone who's still standing with the Stormcall shout, and that will also kill any stragglers. Now this gives you a total elemental damage of 300, which is just insane. Not to mention that the enemy will most likely have a weakness to either fire, frost or shock. And if you're really clever, you can actually write a script and then bind this combo to one button press. But on a full shout build, this is pretty much your main form of damage. The fourth combo is probably one of the funnest. Firstly, use the Cyclone shout, which throws your enemies into the air, and then follow that up with an unrelenting force shout. This is just hilarious to watch, and you'll find that most enemies often die from the full damage. And you can go one step further and slow time before the combo for a completely ridiculous spectacle. This is how you're able to literally juggle your enemies in the sky. Don't forget that you can receive text and or email notifications from my channel every time I release a new video. Underneath the video, just hit subscribe and then hit the bell next to it. You will now get notified as soon as I release a new video. Welcome to the ESO squad, guys. Now let's get back to the video. So the fifth combo is the ultimate dragon killer. Firstly, we're going to use Dragon Rend to get the dragon to land. This makes them easier to target. Now we're going to follow that up with the Soul Tear shout. Repeatedly spam this shout at them. Basically, it's a straight up 300 damage shout. It will completely decimate any dragon you come up against. And you can actually use the Soul Tear shout against anything in the game to just completely destroy it. It's 100% overpowered, but so is the rest of this build. So the sixth combo is pretty much about amassing a spectral army. Just use the cool dragon shout, and then use cool valor, and then summon Durnhamvir. And I probably completely butchered that last shout name, but I'll put all three shouts in the description next to each other. But this combo is stupidly funny. It allows you to summon 2 dragons and one of the heroes from the Hall of Valor, and the named dragon can actually be summoned indoors as well. The seventh combo I want to share with you guys is mainly just for fun, but you can actually just run around Skyrim and spam the Animal Allegiance shout. So you can just get a posse of rabbits, mammoths and bears and foxes and deer just following you. It's absolutely hilarious. You can also use the Bend Will shout on them. The only difference is that the Bend Will shout works on a wider range of enemies, including dragons and giants. So congratulations, you're now a zookeeper. Make sure you slow time and then use the Unrelenting Force shout for a complete hilarious spectacle of flying animals. Now, finally, the eighth combo is for those of you who like to be sneaky. Here we're going to be using the Throw Voice shout. This allows you to fool your enemies into walking away from where you're actually hidden. And this is great for setting up assassinations or just thieving things without getting seen, which is really useful in the Thief Guild. And if you combine this shout with the Aura Whisper, which is a shout that allows you to see all the life forces of any enemies nearby, it allows you to sneak around and never be caught by anyone. And then finally, for number 9, we have the final shout tip. If you use the Marked for Death shout, it will actually reduce your target's armor. What a lot of people don't know, however, is that you can use this shout repeatedly on your enemy and it will actually make their armor go into the negative. This will result in your attacks then doing increased damage, so you can actually kill things in one punch after you've stacked up enough shouts on them. So those are my favourite shout combos to use, but there are literally thousands of possible combos, so please share your own ideas in the comments below. So now we've gone over our shout combos, let's talk about our possible armour. As you're literally a walking shout machine, and virtually invincible anyway, armour is pretty much not a concern. You can quite literally run around Skyrim naked on legendary difficulty without a care in the world. What this means though is that your armour is completely personal preference. But if you really do want to be overpowered, you can use the smithing skill with either heavy or light armour to get an armour rating of 567. 567 is the armour cap in Skyrim, and that will give you a total of 80% reduction to physical damage. What this means is that it's pointless to get any more armour past this point. Even with 1000 armour rating, you still only receive 80% damage reduction. But if you enjoy more of an artistic roleplay focus on your armour, I have a few suggestions. My personal favourite is the Temple Priest robes, found within the Dragonborn DLC. With the hood also equipped, you look like a member of the Greybeards. But we can take that one step further by getting the Dragon Priest mask of Kanarik, an awesome looking horned mask that actually has the best armour rating of all Dragon Priest masks in the game. But this is the hardest to get mask in Skyrim. because you actually have to get all the other Dragon Priest masks and then perform a ritual in order to unlock this one, and I'll leave a guide on how to get that in the description below. But what this mask actually does is it automatically regenerates your health and also damages close by enemies when your health is low. This makes it very useful in lots of situations, but especially when using the Whirlwind shout off the edge of a cliff, which is the only way I find I die with this build. But serious stuff aside, that befits this build, I highly suggest the Wabberjack Staff. This is a unique Daedric artifact that you can get in Skyrim. I'll leave a guide in the description on how to get it for yourself, but it is effectively a staff that has a random magical effect. This effect can range from making your enemy invisible to turning them into a chicken or even a sweet roll. And then if you want to go even further down this wacky path, make sure you get yourself Cicero's Jester outfit, including his boots, hat and gloves. Congratulations, you are now a Manic Court Jester. And I'm not gonna lie guys, this build would be hilarious to use when you're playing through the Darkbrotherhood Assassin questline. Could you imagine assassinating targets with the Wabberjack Staff while slowing time and juggling guards around the town when you leave? And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you could use the stealth combo with the throw shout and aura whisper to hide in the shadows and kill your targets so nobody knew you were even there. There are so many ways to play this build guys, and I really hope you do enjoy it. Please do leave your own ideas and stories down below because I love reading them. And if you did enjoy this build guide, please do give the video a like because that's how I know you want to see more Skyrim build guides. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for the latest Skyrim guides and live streams, which I now do weekly, so check out the links for that in the very bottom of the description below. And as many of you already know, I've set up a Discord server where you can come and chat to me and also participate in live subscriber events and giveaways, so be sure you join me on that too. But thanks again for watching guys, all your support is greatly appreciated, and IESO will see you, loyal subscriber, in the next Skyrim build guide. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day, and I hope you enjoy this build.